And we're live on a Sunday, fun day, fun day. Hold on, I just got distracted. I just saw a bunch of people coming out of the woods. I don't know if they went back there to smoke or if they were literally... No, they were back there. They're coming out with bikes and shit. Interesting. You never know who lives out on the street with you. Interesting. Hey, what's up, everyone? I am the High Priestess Phoenix. I am your spiritual healer, teacher, shaman, seer, oracle, light worker, starseed, earth angel, mystic, medium, psychic, witch, yogi, guru, messenger of God on a Sunday, fun day, fun day. Sunday, fun day. What's up, everyone? Hey, we got a couple new people. I'm not going to get too attached to you because I do that and you guys end up running away because I be talking some shit that you ain't never heard before and you're like, this bitch is crazy. I'm not. I go through a healing journey to cure craziness for myself and others, but a lot of this stuff that I pull out of my books and cards makes people think I'm crazy, so, you know, whatever. I can show you when I was crazy. I really was crazy, but not any of that stuff. It's all fucking scientifically proven. The only one crazy is the person denying the fucking information. What's up, everyone? Well, it's Sunday, fun day. It's very early. It's like 7:30 early. And I just kind of accepted reality. I was like, oh, this is a new reality. Let's talk about it. My driving days are over, bro. They're over. In the sense of, am I done? No, I'm not doing it professionally. If I keep doing this professionally, I'll never enjoy it fucking, you know what I mean, recreationally. I drove last night for a few. I don't even know how it happened, dude. I don't even know how it happened, but somehow I was way the fuck down in Castle Rock looking for rides. I'm like, there's nobody out here. Everybody out here has money in their own fucking car. So then I got to bring my ass all the way back from Castle Rock, and that was enough to wear me out. I was like, I'm fucking done. And, you know, last night I was like, I put in my best. My best wasn't good enough. I go to get out of the car. My hips feel like I need a hip replacement. I'm like, So I'm like walking like I'm wearing a dirty diaper, like, my hips. And then I was beat. I went to bed at like 11 maybe and slept all the way till 6 a.m. bro. Like seriously, dude, it was the best night's sleep. I don't sleep that good in a hotel. And I wake up this morning and I go to, you know, let's get back on the pony. And I'm like, oh no, man, the sun is blinding me. And as soon as I start driving, I get tired. I mean, like, tired. I only took them, like, not far. And I was like, I'm tired. There's no reason I should be tired like that after a full night's sleep. This job is draining me. It's draining me. There's no reason. I had a fresh cup of coffee. The sun's in my face. There's no reason I should have got tired off of a 10-minute drive. I was like, oh, my days are done. This is done. I'm not going to sit here and do this. No wonder I can't do it anymore. It's literally exhausting to me. So I accepted the fate of, you know, the truth is I am getting retired again. God retired me before I even was retired. Oh, it is what it is. What does that mean? I don't know. He's going to have to do something else with me. But I made a video about it. It was in my last video I made Saturday night. It's like, you know, I thought that if I could just get back to driving, like, you know, because Lyft was how I got all my success. When I stopped working and I started driving, mind you, I was driving my own car, so every dollar I got to keep myself, you know what I mean? Now I'm paying fucking nearly $400 a week for a car, and then anything extra I get to keep. Well, it doesn't take a genius to know that I'm not making anything. So anyways, with that being said, is like, you know, I kept in this vision. I was like, after I lost everything, I was like, I could get it all back with Lyft. That's how I did it before. I could do it again. And I've had the car for a few months now, and it's not true. And, you know, that's what I said on Saturday is I had to accept is like, we have this idea that if we go back to what we did, we'll have the same success. You're not the same person, bro. It's not about not having the skills. It's just you don't have the same ambitions, the same intentions, the same drive. And I tried to explain that in that video too. It's like your wants and needs change as you change. And you're like, well, where am I supposed to go from here? I don't know. That's the thing is you let this fall off and then something else will be put on, you know, something new will be put on you. And so I'm just kind of, you know, and that's it. It's like the card said it too. It's like we're having a hard time letting go of it. It's like, well, if I don't do this, then what am I going to do? This is all I did. This was my most successful way of living. God's got another way. God's got another way. So that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm going to finish up today and do my, finish up my 20 rides, but I'm not going to try to make fucking hundreds of dollars in the attention to keep this motherfucker. I'm just not. I'm going to let it go, and that'll keep me focused on my car, in my car, you know what I mean? Just kind of rechange my direction. I just wanted to share that with you. Like, some of you are going to face that, and it's going to be hard, but only you can make the choice, you know what I mean? It's like, this is no longer serving me. It's not bringing me any joy. It's not bringing me any prosperity or abundance. It's just, you know what I mean? This is just something I'm doing because I've been doing it. It's become a habit, and it's not even a good habit. So I wanted to point that out. It's a hard day to accept something like that, and that's it. I accepted it real fast. As I was driving to the east and I couldn't see, and I'm all tired, I'm like, this is not me. This is not what I do anymore. You know what I mean? It's just not. You're like, why can't you push yourself? I don't know. Why can't you push yourself to go back to your old job? Once you outgrow something, you outgrow it. You know you could go back and be good at it, but you won't because you don't want to. You've already done it. So that's kind of where it is. I had to really overdo it before I could get to the point of I'm done with it. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how it is like when you're done with something, you get to the point. You know, God shows you that it's done, but you've got to get to the point where you're done. I'm like, I'm done. I'm done with all of this. I really am. So anyways, I learned my lesson, sort of. We'll see. We'll see what comes next. That's it. And even my friend was like, how deep are you in? You know, he would be more than willing to dig me out like everybody is. It's like, why do I need people to dig me out of my own mess? I'm the one digging myself in this shit, dude. Don't dig me out. Let me dig myself out. Let me stop. Let me put the fucking shovel down. Let me put the fucking shovel down and just lay in the dirt that I've, created for myself and see what the fuck I'm supposed to do with it. You know what I mean? Because each week I'm just putting another fucking scoop of fucking bullshit on myself. 2 scoops, please. So, in essence, the message is for me, but the messages I get for God that, our conversations can be interpreted with everybody else, I saw, my daughter showed me that yesterday. She said that Trump's putting Bible teaching back in the school. So that's dangerous because all it is I was like, that's the scariest book you'll read. That book tells you what God will do. The whole point of that book is to tell you that, there's consequences for your actions and God's going to get you. And with the way he gets people in that book is terrifying. And they're real. This isn't fantasy, dude. The way he gets people is real. There's no devil. Every fucking one tells you that this was God that got these people. So anyways, going back to it, it's like they're trying to put the fear of God back into children. Their parents don't fear him. They're trying to put it back into schools and shit. And it goes back to the interpretation. Why don't you read the Bible? Because it's used to control you. Even when I pull it out, it's the same thing. It's used to scare you into submission. So that's why I don't do it. I know what that thing's for, dude. I'm trying to, it's hard for me to find a scripture in there that's going to make you, that's what they try to do, but ultimately they're trying to scare you into submission. Tell you God's going to get you, which I tell you all the fucking time. I don't need the Bible to do that shit. So, anyways, God speaks, and that's what I said. Is he listening to you? Are you not listening? Are we not listening? Or what are we not listening to? We're not listening to ourselves and our body tell us that we don't want to do some shit. I didn't want to do it, but I did it. I was like, no, bitch, I don't care. Get up and go do it. And I got out there, and I was like, why did you do this? And that's it. You question yourself, like, what the fuck was I thinking? Well, you were thinking in an old way that you could, that everything was going to be the way it was, and it's not ever going to be the way that it was. Because you're not the same person you was. Some of you are. And that's why it's so important. I try to tell you, it's like, you spend too much time trying to change your outside world, but it doesn't matter. It all comes down to how you feel inside. That's what's attracting it. You know what I mean? You can spend a lot of time trying to fuck with your outside world, but it's the inside world that makes all the fucking difference. And that was one of my last videos, was like, fixing the inside world so your outside world is okay. Because really, everything that's you're chasing outside is from inside. Once you start working through these internal things, you're not chasing shit outside of you anymore because you've put it to rest inside of you. Don't get me wrong, I'll be on I will be chasing something else. We're always chasing. You know what I mean? We're always on an adventure, but it's like, sometimes you just got to stop chasing your tail and see that there's actually something out there worth chasing, worthwhile, instead of licking your own butt. Licking your own wounds, I guess you should say. Got my ass kicked today. I sit here and fucking lick my own wounds. And that's what I mean, licking your own butt. So, yeah. What does this mean? I don't know. And that's where, you know, the not knowing is where you're supposed to be, and nobody wants to be there. But not knowing means that it's up to God now. You surrendered control. You have no knowing. You're in the realm of God now. You're like, well, I don't know, God. It's all on you now. We'll have to sit and wait on you. Because when you don't know, bro. You don't know. If you know, then you know. Or you think you know. Meaning, I know what today is going to look like. I know what God's going to do. I know how this is going to play out. I don't know what God's doing. I don't know what today looks like. And I don't know how this is going to play out. Which means I am not in control. Right? And everybody wants you to seize control of your life. You know, like have control over it. Like, who has good control over their life? It's all fabrication, bro. It's complete fabrication. In the sense of you're seeking control. Always trying to keep in control until you lose control. And that's the fabrication. It's like, dude, you never had control. That was just an idea in your head. That everything was, and that's it. It's like, why did I think this was going to be okay? You better work through that. I'm sure your brain will tell you why you thought so. It is what it is. I didn't think for sure that I was going to make fucking $500 in fucking 2 days. I mean, it was possible. Break it down. Make it simpler. $260 or $250 a day. $260 a day, and this is done. I can do this. Let's break that down. $260 divided by 10, $26 a ride, blah, 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 blah. You make it easy in your head. You make it logical that it can be done. Instead of being impossible, you try to make it possible inside of your mind. You know what I mean? You try to create possibilities instead of impossibilities. It looked possible until God said, no. It could have been. Anything can be possible with him, but it was his plan, you know? That's just it. What am I going to do? What you going to do, bro? It's like, I'm not going with his plan. I'm trying to, you know, it's not that I'm off the plan. It's just, you know, this isn't what he's planning. And the longer I could try to do this, the longer the harder it's going to be for me to make that next step, because this isn't the next step. I'm just being held back by my own steps. That would be that 8 of Swords, self-restricting fucking limitations. Meaning you tell yourself that this is the way that it is and you can only live this way. And that's limiting. That's not true. You know what I mean? It's not true. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. I was telling Ray yesterday, I was like, I just want to get, you know, once this shit figures out, I was like, I'm going to get my car fixed. I'm going to hook up that jack and get me a little pop-up. I was like, let's go to Alaska. He said, Alaska? I said, come on, let's go to Alaska. We can get some fucking part-time jobs up there. It'll be nice and cool during the summer. He's like, I like the heat. I'm a white man that likes the heat. I lived in Phoenix forever. I was like, you're crazy, bro. I cannot do it. I don't like the heat, not that much. The cold I can deal with, but the heat, I really can't. I was telling him all about that. I was like, you know, I told him too, I was like, even the KOAs here, bro, they're looking for couples. Meaning, you know what I mean? You do maintenance, I do fucking check-ins, and we'd be good. We'd have jobs, and we'd be able to hook up for free. He's like, really? I was telling him about the one in Fountain. He's like, what do you know about Colorado Springs? I was like, I ran a business down there. He's like, really? I started chopping it all up and shit. It's like, dude, we come from the same world. I just, you know, a lot of people are always surprised. You're a native? Yeah, I just didn't stay here. I know more than here. I know a lot more than just here. My fucking joint came out pregnant again. Oh, that's a sign. That's the third one this week that came out pregnant. Anyways, what does that mean? It means it's fat in the middle. It means it's fat in the middle. See how it's fat? It's pregnant. It's not supposed to be looking like that. So that was the message. It's still part of the same message. Since I don't know what I'm doing, I'll definitely, when it gets warmer, it was a beautiful day yesterday. I'll pull out the cards and go into the pit and we'll do a fucking reading. We'll do a light reading and see. God wants me just to enjoy the day that he's given me and not stress it. Just let him take care of it. Which, that's, you know, hard to do. That's hard for any of us to be like, you know, everything's fucking falling apart and you're like, I'm just going to give it to God. That's what he tells you to do, bro. That's what he tells you to do. And it's like, are you listening? What are your options, bro? To keep holding on to it? To keep stressing it? To keep trying to find your own way? To trying to find an answer to your problems when you've tried so hard you can't? Nothing you're doing is working. That means that this isn't your work. You can't work this. You have to give it to him. And that's the hard part, is not giving it to him, but trusting him. because it's still there. It's like you don't physically, you emotionally, you intentionally, I'm going to give this to you. And then every time it comes back in, you're like, no, I'm giving this to you, God. Every time the worry comes in, God, I'm worried again. You know, he can't take away the feelings of the flesh, but by putting our focus on him and his promises and his words, we can bring peace to our own uncertainties. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not going to fix this right away, and only when he fixes it will I find peace. But until that moment, I've got to tell myself he will fix it, and I will find peace. Otherwise, there's no peace to be had, bro. You're just sitting there stressing, you know what I mean, what is. And stressing what will be and what has been. It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of stress. That's it too, you know, before, like, this morning was great. Okay, so we woke up. Just want to show you the difference in lifestyle, you know, like in the hotel, the kids just wake up and don't say shit to me. I don't even know when they wake up. They come to me when they're ready for something. You know what I mean? So this morning I got back from doing my ride, and my daughter was out walking the dog. No, she saw me come back, and so she got out to walk the dog. And she's all perky and friendly and nice. Like, happy. I'm glad I saw you pulling up. It's nice to see you. Like, you know what I mean? It's like when we're together, we're together. It's just different, you know what I mean? Like last night, we all went to bed together. We all went, you know, we eat together. We're together in this when we're together. But you know, when we're in our own space, we're in our own spaces. He's doing his thing, she's doing her thing, I'm doing my thing. We're in the same space, but we're not conversating, we're not collaborating, we're not nothing. We're just occupying the same space, which is exactly how most of your relationships are. You're just in the same space. It's not an actual relationship. So, you know, coming out here and stuff, this gives us closeness. You know what I mean? We're all on top of each other, so we're with each other, you know? So it's cool. I just wanted to point that out. It's like this morning, seeing her face and her being happy to see me and, you know, hey, how are you? And I'm walking the dog and I already went to the bathroom and stuff. Like, she don't say nothing to me in the mornings. Where's the headphones? Where's the cookies and shit? You know what I mean? Like, she ain't got nothing nice to say, but on the morning like today, it's like, hey, it's nice to see you. Nice to see you too. You know, and then sleeping with my son, I had the best night's sleep curled up to his little ass. You know, and again, like, they'll stay up all night in the hotel. They'll stay up till, I don't know. I wake up at 5 and still see my son on the phone. I'll yell at him and then he'll go to sleep for the morning and we don't see him till noon. But he doesn't do that shit in the car. We're all awake. He's not going to do that in the car. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, I'm done. It's more of a respect. You know, I'm going to accommodate everybody instead of just myself. So I just wanted to point that out. That was probably the best part of my morning is, like, you know, the closeness. Again, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, that's why families go out, like, you know, let's go camping so we can get close, so we can build memories, so we can get, you know, have time together with the family. It's important. It's good to take your family away from reality and spend some real time with your family. You never know what'll come out of there when you're not, you know, they're not focused on their phones in the world we live in. And that goes both ways. So I just wanted to point that out. I'm having a good morning, but at the same time, it's like, oof, it's a tower, bro. I'm going to make it good, but at the same time, it's like, oh, what are you going to do? I don't know, man. I'm gonna sit here and worry and try to force this after I got to realize that this is just probably the way it is. That's just the way it is. Things will never be the same. Good morning, Tupac Shakur. As I do, it's like I got my fucking spirit guides all the time. So that's where it is. I don't know. It's just where it is, dude. That's what I said too. It's like, fuck. How much longer are you going to keep doing this? Not much longer, dude. I'm going to just give it up. Just let it go. And that's what I told him, too, is like, you know, then I can start focusing on my car. Start focusing on, you know what I mean? It's just convenience. But it's not convenient at all. You know what I mean? Being able to jump in that car and go wherever is fine. But at the same time, it's like, where do I need to go? That's all I'm using it for. Being able to jump in my car and go wherever would be fine. Do you know what I mean? As far as a job, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's like, are you going to go back and do something you've already done in hopes that you're going to be successful at it? You've already done it. You know the level of success. Yeah, you can do it again. But ultimately, when you leave a job, it's like you've left your patience level has gone. You're like, I had enough of that. So then it's like, am I going to do that again somewhere else? Oh, God. It's like I can. I'm trained for it. But I remember, like, I don't like this. After a while, I stopped liking this. So, yeah, we're at a serious crossroads. A serious crossroads. We, meaning, I don't know if anybody else is facing it as hard as I am, but I'm facing it. I mean, yeah. That's it. It's like, are you going to get back in the car and go wear yourself out and get tired and shit? Ugh, no. I'm really tired already. I mean, seriously, just doing that little ride, I was like, fuck, I'm going back to bed for a while. That wore me out. And then when I went to get out, like I said, my hips were hurting again from just sitting up. I'm like, oh, no. I don't know. I couldn't possibly tell you, but this isn't the first time that I've been in this position. Definitely not. And that's it. It's like, this isn't my first rodeo. It's just, I'm here again. Here we are again. And the faith is tested stronger. And that's, I'm seeing the ex-husband. God, what an awful thing to see in the morning. Don't ask me how. But this man has managed to live most of his life without a fucking job. I mean, okay, exactly how? Because he's a manipulator and he can get his family or friends and just random people to feel sorry for him and, take care of him. So that's, usually how he makes it. But there's lots of people and it's like, fuck. Oh, no, God, what are you doing? But this could be my own making, too, is, it happened to me every time I go somewhere, and that's where things get shut off, is like every time I try to create stability, you know what I mean, trying to put myself back where I was, I get ripped out of it real fast. It's like you're not going back to who you was. And, it's I'm right in the middle. It's like they want me to be the priestess, and I can't figure out how to do that completely. And that's, that was my cry at Lake Mead. It's like, you want me to do this, but I can't comfortably do this without having some kind of control. And so he brought me back here to give me, to teach me all these lessons. And it's like, all right, going back to it, it's like the snow removal job. You did that now for 2 years. You can do it, but it doesn't, how long are you going to keep doing it? How desperate are you for that money, and that's just all the different jobs. Lyft, Amazon, all of them. It's like you can, but you can't. You can, but you can't. And that was that card, the Kelpies. Or no, not the Kelpies, Blinded by Pain. It's like we just keep pushing ourselves through painful situations. You know what I mean? We just keep doing it to ourselves. And at some point, we've got to stop it. It's very hard. I don't know why, I guess I do. I should have just accepted it on a Friday, but it's like, damn, if you don't take your tower when it's given to you, it's not going nowhere. Everything's going to just keep crumbling around you until you step out and let it fall. You can sit there, and that's what the tower is. It's like you see everything's falling in front of you. And you're either going to sit there and try to hold it all together, or you're going to get out of it and just let it all fall in front of you. It's scary to watch your life crumble in front of you, dude. But once it's done, it's like watching an explosion of a building. It's like, well, there's nothing more to watch now. There's nothing more. We got to go find something else to do with our lives. Can't just sit here looking at this pile of rubble. You know what I mean? Oh, that was it. Yesterday was hard for me. I had a cry, a real hard cry. And my daughter, again, talked me off the ledge. So I've been carrying this suitcase that was my mother's for a long time. And it was her suitcase even from California, bro. It was always her suitcase. It was her travel suitcase. Every time she traveled, she had this suitcase. Yesterday, I had to make a decision between the suitcase and my air fryer. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I was like, I gotta ditch the suitcase. And I was like, but it was my mom's. And my daughter's like, do you need a piece of her? And as soon as she said that, I started crying. And I was like, you're right. She doesn't live in that suitcase. She's been gone for years. That's not her. That's just something I'm attaching to her. And I sat there, and I'm like leaving, and we're all done. But it takes me about 15 minutes. I just gotta cry. I gotta let this go, bro. It's just a suitcase, but it's and again, a piece of what I attach to my reality. It's like, this is the only thing I have to remember my mom. That's not true, dude. It's not true. She doesn't live in that suitcase, bro. And so, again, detachment is never easy. There's always these things that you're putting down that are part of you. It was just a suitcase, bro. It was just a suitcase. Not even mine. And it didn't even mean it didn't mean nothing until I was about to leave it. And then I realized how much it really meant and all the memories that were attached to it. And it's like, they're not my memories. It's just I attached this person to a piece of fucking luggage. Baggage, really. If you think about it. You know what I mean? It's like, I can't let this go because this is, you know what I mean? This reminds me of my mom. I can think of my mom without the suitcase, bro. And that's, as weird as it sounds, it's like there's so many of these things that God's asking you to let go of and just reprogram yourself. You're like, I can't do it. Why can't you? Why do you think that way? It was hard, and I cried about it. You know what I mean? Like, when I let go of everything, one thing after another I've let go of. It's like, but this was all I had. This is all I had from that life. Let it go. Let it go. It's painful, bro. That was painful. I just cried so hard, like she just died. She's been dead for like over 10 years. Maybe not. I don't remember. Fuck. Yeah, about that much. Yeah, my son was a baby when she died. So yeah, she's been dead for like 12 years. Jesus, that's crazy that it's been that long. It's crazy, dude. Time flies. Give me a minute. I miss my mom. Isn't it crazy? And that's why you got to let go of the material world, because you have this idea that the material world is the spiritual world, and it's not even real, bro. It's not even real. Going back to it, it's like, I'm seeing the boys and their plaques. You would never give up your Grammy because you think that Grammy shows all your hard work. But if you lost it, or it got burnt, or if it's, you know what I mean, somebody stole it, they can't take away your Grammy. Maybe the physical Grammy, but they can't take away your Grammy. As I'm saying that, I'm hearing your Grammy, like your grandma. You know what I mean? It's like you put so much into it. I put my whole life into this. This was my whole life, and now it's gone. No. And that's how you'll lose your life, is by putting it into something. It's like, that's not true, bro. If I don't have this, I don't have my mom. That's not true. She doesn't live in that fucking suitcase, bro. Just like I don't live in these things. I am like filled with it right now. Like when I had to lose all my fucking clothes and my jewelry and my whole house, I felt like my life meant nothing. It didn't mean anything because I had nothing to show for it anymore. All my hard work was gone. But it wasn't any of that stuff. None of that stuff really meant it. It all had a price, don't get me wrong. It all costed something. But that wasn't my life. It's just how I showed you what I did with my life. You know what I mean? I could show you with my house, this is what I've done with my life. But if you're not putting your whole life into a house, into a car, into a job, you can actually do more with your life. And in the end, is it something that, you know what I mean, at the end you can put it in a bag? This is what I did with my life. And that's what you guys think your legacy is. It's your house, it's your cars, it's your money, it's your bank account, it's all your toys. It's like, I have all this to show for my life. It's just a show. Because when your life is gone, they'll get rid of all that stuff. And when that stuff is gone, is it like you didn't exist? I'm seeing my sister. When my mom died, all of her belongings were in my house. So I took it upon myself to separate what was hers and give pieces of it to my brothers and sisters so they could take a piece of her with her, with them. It wasn't fair for me to have everything. And in essence, right after they did it, I got rid of everything else. I got rid of all of her stuff, dude. Because I didn't want the memories. I didn't want to hurt. I didn't want to look at her stuff and hurt, which was the biggest mistake I probably ever made. Nah, not the biggest, but it hurt. It was a bad idea. I was just trying to make it all go away. Fuck. I did that so well with my life that it's like, fuck. Why did you do that? That's all I ever did was try to make it all go away. It's like, why did you do that, Lisa? Why did you get rid of your mom so fast? I got rid of everything so fast so that it wouldn't hurt us, so we wouldn't look at it and miss her. Just like that suitcase, bro, so I wouldn't feel like this every time I looked at something of hers. Right? Anyway, so I put it all together and I give her some of... One thing that she started doing towards the end of her life was collecting jewelry from Avon, and she had so much of it. It was all, it was all custom jewelry, nothing of true significance, but it was important to her. She never had jewelry. She never had accessories. So I took all of her accessories and I separated them and I gave everybody a pile. She had collected quite a bit. And everybody had a pile. I gave my brother a pile, and I remember, when I fled my husband and I had to go stay with his wife out in Palmdale, I got to her house and the pile of stuff that I'd given my brother was just sitting there in a Ziploc bag like it didn't mean anything. I remember being hurt about that. Now, this pile that I gave to my sister, she put in her car that day. She never took it out. A couple months later, my brother stole her car in the middle of the night on a drug binger, and he took it and then he abandoned it on the side of the road. She lost not only her car, but all of the jewelry and everything that I had given her to remind it, because she could never pull it out of the car. She lost all the shit of my mom too. My brother lost his pile. My sister lost her pile. I slowly have lost everything. You know what I mean? I don't know about anybody else if they were able to keep anything. And it's like, we wanted to hold on to these things so we could hold on to a memory of my mom, but we couldn't. We couldn't hold on to those things because those things weren't even, to be honest, that jewelry she didn't even really wear. She just kept buying it. So when I would come to visit her, I'd sit down and I'd sit in front of her jewelry box and I'd just open them all up and we'd look at all of her new jewelry, all her new makeup, all her new clothes that she bought. Because one day, she was going to go somewhere. One day she was going to put on those outfits and those jewelries. She was going to pack up that bag. One day. She was getting ready for that day, bro. But the day never came. She never wore those clothes. I got all her tennis shoes. They were my size. She never put on that jewelry. She never got her day. I'm really hurt right now. Sorry. I love my mom. Going back to this, there's going to be a lot of times when God's going to ask you to get rid of something, and you've got so much memories and emotions attached to this trinket. This nothing means so much to you. And He might actually take it away so that you can really understand that whatever value you put into that thing was not the actual value of that thing. That jewelry was cheap. It was cheap jewelry. But it was priceless to us because it was all we had to remember her. And you look at your old t-shirt and it's all rut up, it's all tore up and it's got holes and it doesn't even fit. And you're like, why don't you throw that away? It's got all my memories. All my happy times are in that shirt. If you get rid of the shirt, you'll have to pull the happy times out of the shirt. You know what I mean? Going back to like a graveyard. You think they're there. If you let them out of that graveyard, they're with you always, and they don't have to be there. Sorry, I am like really hurt by all this. I love my mom. You listen to the stories like, oh God, bro. We didn't have to have a good mom to love our moms. We love them because they are our moms. We can hate them because they're not like other moms. You know, I only had one mom. She didn't have to be the best mom for me to love her. She didn't have to be the best mom for me to miss her. She was my mom, bro. I dealt with her. I accepted her, you know? Or maybe I didn't in some cases, but, you know. I can see Marshall. This is going to hurt him. We hurt. Our moms are a touchy subject. It's a hurtful thing. That's probably why I'm so protective over my men and their moms. I'm not going to say who, but it's like, bro, they're pretending that she's a great mom. She's good, but she's damaging you, bro. And that's it, too. My brothers and sisters despise me for the relationship that I have with my mom. It's like, how can you be like, I didn't know it. But they would look at me like, you love her and how can you be so loving and so fucking affectionate and so kind and so, how can you guys act like best friends when she treated you the way that she did? Hey, bro, I honestly forgot about it all. But they would sit there and watch us be all close, and they couldn't be close with her with the feelings they had. I didn't have those feelings. Those didn't come till after she was dead, bro, and I couldn't do nothing. What, I'm going to put them on her? She's already gone. They're on me now. You know? And that was Grace, because, you know, with all her kids hating her, the one she treated worst loved her. You know what I mean? I can't say she treated me worse. I just know, I don't know what she did to them. I don't know what she did to them. Truthfully. Not fully. But in the essence, she deserved love too. You know what I mean? We both deserved love, and it came down to, you know what I mean? Me loving her. And she did love me. Like, when my ex kidnapped my daughter, you know, he worked, I was pregnant, I didn't have no money, I didn't have anything. He worked at the car wash, and he made money, and he paid, you know, he was the breadwinner. And when he kidnapped my daughter, my son is in the hospital. I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills. I don't know anything. I'm like crying to my mom. I'm like, I don't know what to do, Mom. She had been in the hospital for a couple of months fighting cancer. So she hadn't spent any money. So she sent me what she had. She had money saved up, so she sent me money to keep my bills going. And after like a month or two, we came up with the idea that she was going to come out to California and come, you know, I had 2 rooms. I'll give her one of my rooms, and she was going to help me try to figure out my life, you know, try to help me. Because I didn't know what to do. I was falling apart. I had one, you know, he had kidnapped my daughter. My son's in the hospital. I have no money. I'm like literally falling apart. And that's why that suitcase, I remember the suitcase, her flying out to California. I remember that suitcase. Always that suitcase, though. But anyway, she came out and she came to live with me to help me, you know, and then that was the end of her times, though. It was the end of her times. She only had a couple, you know, about another year before she was going to die. And she spent her last year with me, and we lived together, and, you know, it wasn't the best situation. I treated her, you know, not so nicely. Sometimes as a burden, to be honest. And, we had a relationship that other people were, you know, my brothers and sisters were quite envious of. But at least at the end, you know what I mean? That's what I have, is we had a relation. I have those memories of her living in my house, me driving her to the doctors, us eating dinners together, you know, Christmas, and laughing together, her putting, you know what I mean, cable. We had to have cable. Mom has to watch TV. You know, her music, her playing with the kids. She made my house a home for the last year before she died, and those were the memories I had. I didn't have memories. You know, my memories are good because she brought me goodness at the end of her life when I needed it most. So I don't have the same memories as everyone else. You know what I mean? And a lot of my brothers and sisters hated that. It's like, how could you fucking, you know, they despised it. They despised it. And that's kind of how, you know, my older kids are a little bit. they despise my relationship with my younger kids. It's like, how can you be so kind to them? How can you be so sweet when I know you're a bitch and you abandoned us and you fucking don't love us? They know the mother I was, and they can't stand looking at the mother that, well, it's a lot of work, but they have a lot of built up animosity looking at the mother that I've become. It's like half of it is you're not that mother because that's not who you were when you were with me. And the other half is, how come you weren't that mother with me? I was 16 years old. I was on drugs. I was getting beat. I was living in the streets. I didn't know anything. You know what I mean? And as far as, that's just kind of how it is. It's like you look, as they become better, but then you look at them like, that's another thing too. You look at them as when they become grandparents. You're like, you fake ass motherfucker, you treated us like shit and you want to act like the perfect fucking grandparent? Yeah, they want another chance. Give them a chance. Give them a chance. And that's it. My mom was a great grandma. She was a great nana. She really was. She really was. And I don't have the shit ass memories. Like, I mean, I know what she did and shit, but she was my mom, bro. She wasn't my mom. She was my friend. In that sense, she was more my friend. I was talking to Ray about that yesterday. I guess I just, when I let that go, when I let the peace go, I let her in. I was talking to him about it yesterday. I was like, I think maybe I should just go, I'm always thinking. I was like, maybe I should go start knocking on all these hotel doors. He's like, you could. He's like, that one you need to knock on, and he points over to the Gaylord. It's like, let me tell you a story. It's like, before they opened that in 2016, I was trying to establish myself. I was like, I had every idea that I was going to be a manager there when they broke ground on that. We heard about it. They're going to build a fucking resort. And I was in hotels, and I'm like, I'm going to fucking be a manager at that resort. And from that resort, I'm going to all resorts, right? This was my resource. And so I'm planning on it, and that's why I'm climbing the ladder down at the Crown Plaza, right? And I tell him that. And I was like, but that was years ago. All I wanted was I was going to run that hotel. And I truly, as I'm learning to run this one, I'm going to run that hotel. Before it was ever built, that was my intentions. And then, it all goes away. And so now here I am. And I was like, so why don't you go in there and run that bitch? I said, I'm not that girl. I was like, I'd rather just do housekeeping. He said, housekeeping? I said, yeah. My mom was a professional housekeeper. I fully enjoy cleaning. Just leave me alone and let me do my job. He's like, I get that. So that's how I do my job so well. They put me in a corner and I just build these things. It's like, that's all I want. I was like, don't get me wrong, I'm great with people, but the things I wanted before I don't. I just, you know what I mean? I don't want a title. I don't want to be important. I just want to be, be able to make it. I don't need to be important. I don't need to show everybody that I'm the smartest one. I don't need to run this business. Being part of it's good enough, is what I told him. But that's what I was thinking. It's like, dude, all these fucking hotels, I wake up early, I could be done by 3 o'clock. All I do is clean. All I like to do is clean. They'll leave me alone. You know what I mean? In the sense of, I could do this, and I would be fine for me, is what I told him. And I was telling him, I was like, but my mom was a professional housekeeper. It's in our blood. We're just cleanly people, you know what I mean? It was passed on generations that we take pride in cleaning. And I was like, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, if I got to the point where would I pay for a housekeeper? You know what I mean? You're looking at Bubba's mom. You're like, Bubba's mama didn't have to cook for nobody else. And then she got her own cook. It's like, that's okay, I guess. But you'll never take it out of me, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I come from a long line of house bitches, bro. I'm a good house bitch. And so we were talking about that yesterday. I was saying that. I was like, I just throw out ideas, because that's the truth. Is like, there's not a place around here that I couldn't walk in and talk my way into a job. But can I give the commitment to that job? Or I really just want a paycheck? You know what I mean? Am I really going to give you what you want? Or I just want something from you? In the sense of, how long am I going to give you? How good am I? You know what I mean? Like, what's my expiration date to this? And that's where it is. It's like, if you're pushing out of desperation, it's only going to last. After you're no longer desperate, it's going to wear off. You know what I mean? That's even a relationship I'm seeing, boyfriend, girlfriend shit. It's like, I'm real lonely right now, so I'm going to date you until I have until I'm not so lonely, till I'm better in my skin, and then I don't need you. It's a fucked up reality, but it is a reality. It's like, in our desperation, we need something outside of us to make us feel good. And then once we feel good, we don't want that anymore. And that's even psych patients, you know what I mean? You put them on medicine so that they can feel good. And once they feel good, they're like, I don't need the medicine anymore. What the fuck do you think is making you feel good, dummy? You know what I mean? You dummy? In the sense of, so it's like, did you really need that person to make yourself feel good? You know what I mean? And that's like, even one night stands. I'm just going to hook up with someone and I'll feel, that makes me feel good. As the Lilith and as Lisa, dude, that's what happened with Bobby. It's like, I had no intentions. It's not like I wanted to get laid. I wanted the fucking power of it. Fine, I'm going to fuck the shit out of you, bro. You're never going to fucking forget me. Was the whole trip on him. That was the whole fucking trip. And that made me feel good. I tell you what, it does. I'm being fucking honest. It's a fucked up trip, but it's a trip. And that's what I told you. I don't need a man. Just to go out and take all their attention is good enough for me. I don't actually need you. Just your attention is good enough. So when you're going out to get a job, what are you out to get? You know what I mean? Are you going for a paycheck? Are you going for a title? You're going for attention? You're going for clout? You know what I mean? We got to be honest about who we are and where we are and what we're going for and what we want. And that's where it is. It's like they put me out here with all of this. And that's what happens. As soon as you sit by yourself, a lot is going to come to the surface about yourself. And that's why the Hermit card told you. Hey, I just want to point out, do you guys hear you hear the generator running, right? That's my friend. He's not here. He left hours ago to work. He left that on for us. Meaning he put gas in that shit and made sure we had electricity this morning. And he did it last night. It was supposed to go off. He told me it was going to go off at 8. But that thing, he must have got up. That's why I told the kids, he must have put more gas in it or whatever. And that's it. He's like, his dog's in there, but he's all nice and warm and shit. He's not running electricity. For the morning he will, but he's not running it for the dog. He put more in to run for us. When he pulled up last night, he was like, yeah, have you guys eaten and stuff? And I just want to point that out. I just want to point that out completely. Like, as I'm listening to it, it's like, he's doing that for us. He's not even here. He's not even here. He's doing that for us. It's a good person, right? I just had to point that out. I heard it all loud, and I'm like, it's louder than my video. I'm like, that loud noise is for us. That's my friend caring about us. I told him last night, I was like, I say it on my video. I was like, I couldn't sleep at night, safely without you. I was like, since the first night I came out here, you made us feel safe. I was like, I sleep very good knowing that you're here with a 22 and a fucking... He's all, I don't have a 22. He said, that's a 25, and then there's the AK in the back. I just want you to know, this is a retired Marine, bro. You know what I mean? God he had me secured, And that's it. It's like, that's why I was like, come on, Ray, let's travel. Because I ain't going to fucking Alaska. He said, if I'm going anywhere this summer, I'm getting on the Harley and we're going to just ride around. I was like, I get it. I just kind of want to, I'm putting in a lot because a lot's coming to it. But, getting back in the land and stuff, it's like, this is all good. This is all good. For us to sit and, reevaluate. And that's what the Hermit card said, is you need to be pulled away so we can get some shit. Pull some shit out, put some shit in, and fix some shit. It's a reconfiguration. You're reconfiguring the way that you approach yourself in life. When you sit at, when you take those hermit modes. Did I sit out like this yesterday? No, I stayed busy pretty much all yesterday. I didn't really enjoy it. And today it's like, it's supposed to be the nicest day. And I'm like, as soon as I got in my car, my hips started hurting. I got tired. I got blinded by the light. I just want to point out the moon is still out there. Where'd you go? You can't see it because the sun's there, but the High Priestess moon is out there. It's the crescent moon. We're almost to our new beginnings. That's, our new moon is on the 27th. By then, we'll be flushed out. Completely empty. I told you this happens, bro. You'll fool yourself on the full moon. You're all full of possibilities, all this. Only for you to work through them and start taking all this shit off. The new moon, what are they going to do? They're going to fill you up with new shit. New ideas, new possibilities, new projects, new relationship, and all of this. They give you all new energy to work through. All right, and you start working through it, and you find out what, you know, you get full of it. You get all the way full of it by the full moon, and then you start working your way out of it. And it's just a fucking regenerative cycle. Now, you're like, well, will it always be like this? No, this is the healing process. That's what I tried to say is, like, until you're healed, you're going to keep peeling. You got to keep peeling back the skin, bro. I don't know how to explain it. It's like a scab. You got to keep peeling the scab off, dude. You know what I mean? Until it's fully healed. You don't want the scab. You're okay with the scar, but you're not the scab. You don't want it to be, you know what I mean? If anybody bumps this or anything, you're going to bleed again. And that's kind of it. It's like, why is it taking you so long? Because first off, I'm doing something that's never been done before. And it takes a long time to try to fucking do something that's never been done before. Which is what? My traveling circus? I am a whole fucking traveling circus. And that's funny because the circus people from Hugo, they travel during certain times, and then they have to bring the circus home to the land. In a sense of, I'm getting stronger in my ministry, in my teachings, all of that. The next jump is to be, you know what I mean, to be in the ministry, to run, you know, the church. The church isn't a location, and that's what I teach you all the time. God's church is inside of you, and he wants us to spread, you know, we are the church. So, in essence, I've been fighting for a long time because all I've wanted in this life is security. Do you know what that means? Do you feel that? I lost my joint. And so we're searching for security, and that is what keeps getting me in trouble. There's no security outside of God. And the longer you try to secure yourself outside of God, the more insecure and, you know what I mean, unstable you're going to be. Not physically, but, well, I mean, not mentally, but physically. Meaning the more you try to latch onto something, the more it's going to fall out, you know, it's going to slip out of your hands. Because I'm not supposed to get comfortable in one place and say this is as good as it gets. That's me. Because it can always get better. And so I'm still learning this. I'm still learning it. And if you haven't noticed, I still keep trying to get a job. I keep trying to get into the real life. I keep trying to put myself where I already been. Like, when are you going to learn? When are you going to learn, bro? When are you going to learn? It's easy to see me making my mistakes, but are you looking at your own? Mine are like super high level. It's like, why can't you just get a job? Because I'm not just any person where a job was enough. That's not my problem. Why can't you get a house? Because that's not what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to have a career and a house on the road. It was part of my dream, part of my destiny, and these are the pieces to getting that. I mean, that's just it. Understand this. If I don't get this right, you know, okay, I'm seeing it this. I have my trailer, and then I win my lottery. Will I forget everything that I'm supposed to do and just go buy a mansion in Wisconsin? Connecticut? There's a lot of them. Rhode Island? They're just abandoned. Rich people abandon their houses. There's so many everywhere. Remember Nelly abandoned his? P. Diddy's is about to be abandoned. R. Kelly's was abandoned. There's all these enormous fucking castle-like fucking houses that have just been abandoned by rich people, bro, that I think about getting all the time. You're like, really? I think about it. I mean, I don't think, but lots of ideas come in my head of all kinds of shit. But going back to that is like, you got to get yourself completely on your own program to where you won't get off of this new program. This is the program. Get with the program. And that's it, is like, you know, we're kids. Like, oh no, but I want to go this way. No, come back. Come back to reality, which is not your reality. It's the reality that this is what it is. This is what it is. In the sense of, will I have a home? Yes, but it's not staying to where this is it, and these are my people, and I'll never leave home. No, that's the thing, is like, it's all about the teachings, of course, but the spread of the word. You know what I mean? It's like, going back to your music, guys. Not everybody watches YouTube. Some people will only hear your music on the radio. If it never hits the radio, they never hear your music. Some people, there's all these streaming networks that people use. I can't stand Spotify. I can't stand it. I don't know how to navigate it. I don't like it. I don't use it. But that's the way that almost only people listen to music. You know what I mean? I'm a Pandora girl. If I don't hear it on Pandora, I don't hear it. If it doesn't happen to go pop up on my YouTube or Pandora, I don't know it. But those are my doorways. And that's the thing of these platforms. There's all these weird platforms like TuneCore and Deezer and all these things that you can stream music. Each person uses what makes them feel comfortable. Okay? Now, let's go back to me and my ministry. I can't reach people in Nebraska. I'm going to list the weirdest states right here. Nebraska, Montana, the Dakotas, Idaho, fucking New Mexico. I can't reach them from a fucking location in Colorado or just hoping that they're going to get a Netflix account. Maybe they have Hulu. Maybe they have Peacock. Maybe they don't have a phone. How am I going to reach them if, you know what I mean, if my reach is limited to the internet? Understand? And that's another thing too, is you don't know what they use. You don't know how they function in their towns. Each town, you know, they're all the same people, but they all use different things. It's like, you know, going back to Mr. Plum, I fucking love him. This was a couple of years ago, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago. We're going to go through the drive-thru, and he tells me I got to stop and get some cash. I was like, why? They accept debit. He's like, I don't want to give him my PIN. So that's not how it works. All these years, he thought that every time he swipes his debit card, he has to give him his PIN everywhere. Because it happens at Walmart. So he thinks that if he swipes his credit card at any other place, they're going to ask him for a PIN. And he just didn't feel comfortable putting his PIN into Taco Bell's fucking thing. I was like, that's not how it works though, Mr. Plum. That's not how it works. He didn't know. Then right before I left, he had no idea what Facebook Marketplace was. And I showed him. He's like, oh. And you know how that is. That's my favorite thing to do. When I get bored, I just start scrolling through shit. It's like the thrift store. You just start looking at shit. And I'll be laughing at shit. Like, you guys are idiots. You're going to charge this much money? This must be a scam. You know, something like that. It's like, you don't know what they do and what they use and how they talk. And that's what I realized, too, when I got down there. They're like, the job was like, well, we do all our updates on Facebook. I don't even use Facebook. Are you serious? They're like, yep. Like, you have all government buildings, you have to go to their Facebook account. Like, this is how they talk to people, is through Facebook. If you want to get a job, you know, remember, like, if you wanted something, you had to go through Craigslist, or you had to go through, you know, everybody uses different ways of absorbing information and staying connected. Now, going back to my ministry and shit, it's like, God wants everybody connected. Just like he sends these, you know, like he sends Sangaru. He's like, I want you to do a conference here, and I want you to do a conference here, and I want you to do a conference here so that you can reach all these people. It's all about spreading the word, right? Have you talked to the missionaries of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? You know, those people. Those people, dude, have you seen the Mormons? Them motherfuckers, I've seen them in Mexico. I've seen them everywhere. 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 It's part of their missionary work. Oh, shit. Here he comes. Wolfman. Yeah, my stomach's growling as soon as I said your name. Did you hear the wolf growl? He's a dipshit. Again, I'm gonna be nice to you, sort of. But here's a guy, you know, another guy that's, you know, ex-military that thinks he's important because he served his time in the military. Hey, that was a free will choice, and you probably did it for a fucking paycheck, and your parents told you to get up and do something with your life. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Now, you go to these other countries, it's mandatory, bro. Mandatory to serve in the military for at least 2 to 4 years. In Mexico, in most European countries, every man, I don't know about women, but every man must serve a certain amount of years in their military. So going back to you and your military reform, thinking that you're better than someone, no. They took that class when they were 16, 18, 20, and they didn't get a paycheck. It was mandatory. They didn't get paid to serve their country. They were taught to serve their country at a young age, and it was mandatory that they understood how to handle a weapon and how to serve their country in the time of warfare. Right? It wasn't a job, it was a requirement. In the sense of, I don't think they pay their asses. I know, because Uncle Hector said he couldn't get a passport because he didn't do his military time. I think Uncle Hector turned out to be a fucking a police officer later, which is so weird because we used to smoke so much weed together. Super weird. Anyways, I don't know. Mexico's different. But that was the thing, is like, if you don't do this requirement, you can't move forward. So there's these people that think that because they know something that they're better than you, but what they don't know is everybody else knows it. And now I'm seeing circumcision. This is a funny thing to talk about. Americans are huge about it in the sense of, but they think, you know, I'm just saying women in general that have a standpoint on this situation. And I said it's like, but if you went to any other countries, you're not going to see so much circumcision. I can't even say it. Anyways, there's different ways and different this. And if you only go one way, then you're limiting yourself. If you only sleep with men that are circumcised, that eliminates probably 3/4 of the men that exist. Because first off, it's an electoral fucking procedure, meaning it's not mandatory anymore. They don't pay for it. If you can't pay for it, and most parents don't, and it was expensive when I paid for my sons, then they're not clipped. Okay, so going back to it, a whole new generation of women, you know, our generation, we're used to seeing it one way. The next generation are going to see it a different way, right? So women before my generation didn't shave. My stomach's making noises. They didn't trim, right? Before my generation. My generation were told to shave, you know what I mean, to make it all trimmed up. The next generation, what do they do? And that's it. It's like, you don't know, you know, you put yourself in this one-way mindset that this is the way it is, and when you step out of your way, you realize that there is another way. Okay. Am I supposed to sit here and keep trying to get a job and a house here? Or am I supposed to do my job and get my house? Am I supposed to do your job and fit into your apartments? Or am I supposed to do my job, work twice as hard, and get my own house? And that's funny too, because I picked up this dude in Montbello this morning. And I went through a couple streets. I was like, I saw multiple bright-ass, purple-ass houses. You know those nasty ones that Mexicans be doing and shit? I don't think they were Mexican. But anyways, bright-ass, fucking purple-ass houses. And I tell the dude, I was like, dude, you guys got a lot of bright houses out here. He's like, I know. It's because we ain't got no HOA. It's like, you can't do that in HOA. You can't. Meaning you bought a house in a community and you have to follow the community guidelines of this. Meaning if I want to change my house, or if I want to put in a tree, or if I want to, you can't do any of that. You got to follow the rules or they're going to kick you out. So even though you got your house, it's not really, you don't have the freedoms of your house because you have to follow the land, the rules of the land. You know what I mean? And that's going back to my house. I'll be able to have my own rules in my house wherever I want, and my house will be placed outside, you know, out in the woods, out in, you know what I mean? Whereas I don't have to come home to the same, you know, the same location with the same neighbors down the same street for the rest of my life. Now, as far as my job, my market is not just here in Denver. Who needs to hear this? Who are you selling this to? First off, I'm not selling anything. That's the thing. It's like, it's a non-profit organization. The profit is your savior. You know what I mean? You're saving, you're healing. That's the profit I get out of this. But it's like, where's your market? It doesn't end. Anybody that can hear this message can receive it. It's not limited. And that goes back to, you know, your guys' music. Who are you making this music for? Only people like you. You can only go to people like you with what you got. That doesn't resonate with anybody but you. And that's what it is. It's like, what are you selling? You. So, going back to it, the priestess doesn't fit anywhere else in any of these places. Because ultimately, I'm a priestess everywhere I go. You could put me in a 7-Eleven, but I'm still going to be a priestess when you talk to me. I'm going to still talk godly shit, no matter where you put me. I'm not, you know what I mean? My job is not a job, it's who I am. But I'm not doing, you know, I'm not being who I am. I'm trying to find a job. I hear you. You know, a bunch of you guys. So, a lot to be said there. I'm not a Lyft driver, but I'm trying to make myself one. I'm not any of these things, but I'm trying to make myself one. Which is dumbing myself down, bro. Trying to be something I've already been. Trying to hope for the success I've already had. The only way I'm going to be successful is going forward, being who I am now. And that's where it is. It's like, well, there's nobody like me, and they don't pay for this, and there's no gain, and everybody in this and that. And that's what I tried to tell you. It's like, no, bro. God's never made anyone like you. And it's going to be really hard to figure out where it is. And that's what I was teaching you this week, is what the Holy Spirit was saying is, you don't find a place, you make a place. Because when I finally make my place known, then there's going to be people like me. You know what I mean? There are already people like me. There's just not a place. There's already people like you. We're called to be the people that create a place for them. But in the essence, it's, you know, it's a lot of work trying to find our place. But our placement is only for the people like us later. You know what I mean? Once I establish what a priestess is, then more priestesses can come out and be priestesses. You know what I mean? But until then, no. It hasn't really, they don't have a place. They're, you know what I mean? You've put them outside of a place. We have to establish a place. Going back to whatever God has made, you know, put in your heart. It's like, God wants me to make cakes. There's a million bakers. He wants me to make dick-shaped cakes. Eat a dick. I like it. Sounds like a great idea. Are you going to make dick pops? Suck a pop. I'm so full of it. You're like, this isn't going to go well. Yeah, it will. Make sure you put yourself in an LGBTQ community. Make sure you're advertising to fucking, you know what I mean, to bachelorette parties and divorce parties and all of this. This could be a great idea. You're like, no, I'm going to get persecuted. Yeah, maybe. But you're also going to be celebrated on a whole different level. That sounds funny. I came up with that out of nowhere. Does anybody know how to make a cake? We're going to be making dick-shaped cakes. I need one for my wedding. It's going to go really well with that hot dog from fucking Costco. I'm going to eat a dick. What is that? It's this new restaurant down the street. It's a meat bar. What? Sounds like the best idea for some, you know what I mean? Sorry. That can only come from Lilith. I don't think any of you could play that off like I could. They have all kinds of dick-shaped food. We go and eat dick all day. What? Yes. Take your first date out on... Where did she take you? Eat a dick. What? Yeah. There was just all this dick-shaped food that I had to sit in front of her and eat. It was the best date ever. Did somebody need an idea for a restaurant? I got you, bro. Have fun with it. Make sure you bring me to the grand opening of that thing. Going back to it, you're like, oh, this is, I don't know, God. Yeah, the Holy Spirit knows this is going to be good. Like, no, I don't want to quit my daytime job to eat a dick. Start. It's like, I've been drawing dick, like what? Like a man dick? Yeah, only like 1 out of 8%. Like, what are you talking about? It's from Superbad, bro. You would sit around all day drawing dicks. Now look at him. He probably manufactures fucking dildos. Very real like ones too. Fuck Becca. Sorry. Oh, you cry for so long and then you just gotta laugh it off. Alright, so that's where we're at, bro. God said it's time for us to be something bigger than the world has for us. How are you gonna do this, God? Well, let go and I'll figure it out. That's the hardest thing, bro. You literally just gotta trust him, bro. It's so hard. I show you. This one's real hard. It's like, oh, fuck. You want me to sit around and do nothing and let my life fall apart right now? Yep. Oh, God. Well, at least it's a beautiful day to do nothing. Fuck. I don't know what to say. I can argue with him and try to do something about nothing he told me not to do. I can sit there and force it, fight him all day, driving my car. But then what if I missed this beautiful day and I end up making $40? What a waste. He's gonna be mad at me. I'll be more mad at me than he would. In the essence, all I did all that work for, I only took $100 off of my shit. I have one day. Even if I take 100 off today, it's not going to make everything okay, bro. It's not going to fix anything. It just makes me feel better that I tried. How about I don't try? And I just accept that the shit's about to fall apart right now. Or I can try my hardest. But like I said last night, my hardest wasn't good enough. I did my best and it wasn't good enough. Because this isn't where I was supposed to be putting my energy. It's not that you're not good enough. It's just this isn't where you're supposed to be putting your energy. It'll never be good enough. Because, you know, and that goes back to some relationships. I'll never be good enough for you. Not that I'm not good enough, but my best isn't good enough for you. And that's, you know, as I said that, it's me, but it's also men too. It's like my ex, he used to say that, you're never happy, nothing's ever good enough. Nope, you will never be good enough for me. You just accept it. You're the best to someone else, but not for me. You don't have to try at it. Nothing you do will ever be good enough for me. Accept it. Move on. Go find someone that you're good enough for, that actually appreciates you and how hard you are, and how hard you work. And that's what it is like going back to my job. It's like, I need to do something that's worthwhile. Something that, you know what I mean, brings me joy. Something that I'm good at. You know? And you're like, well, this isn't hard. Nothing's hard if you got the right mindset. You can do anything. If you put your, you know, you could do it, put your back into it. But, what are you pushing? I'm pushing a boulder, bro. I'm pushing a boulder up a hill that ends up rolling, you know what I mean? That ends up squishing me every time I push it. It's breaking my nails and my fucking toes. It's rolling all over me. Stop pushing it. Let someone else push that boulder up the hill. Let someone else try to see if they can get it to the top. What happens if you get the boulder to the top? It's just going to roll back down to the bottom. You can't just set it at the top. And that goes back to your success. You're like, if I get this manager level, I am set. No, bitch. Now you're at the bottom of the manager level, and you're going to have to learn how to be a manager and work your ass off being a manager. You know, Kendrick, he's supposed to be the biggest thing right now, but what he's got to do right now is work his ass off to keep himself like that. And that's Marshall. After he became the biggest, he had to spend his whole life maintaining that. And every time he falls off, he's got to beat his ass and try to get his ass right back up there. And that's Lewis. It's like, just enjoy it for a minute. You can't stay at the top. It's lonely at the top. There's nobody up there. There's nothing up there. You're going to have to come back down to reality and start over again. It's just how it works. You can't just stay at the top of the highest mountain and, you know what I mean? And everything, it's lonely. You got up there all by yourself. It's just you and God up there. Nothing else. You can look down at all the little people and all the, you know, the way that you got yourself and look at everything. But ultimately, it's like, all right, well, this was fun. Time to go back down to reality. Time to go back and get me, you know, find another way of life. Or you could just keep climbing the same fucking mountains. But even when you get there, bro, there's no real destination. Happiness isn't a destination. Success isn't a destination. Abundance isn't a destination. It's not a location. It's not a possession. It's inside of you. You do these things to find those feelings inside of you. You're not going to find them outside of you. You know, I'm seeing Russ. You know, he wanted to do stadiums. It wasn't enough for him. Now that he's done stadiums, he wants more. I want to do more stadiums. I want to do bigger stadiums. I want to fill them up more. The desires of the flesh are never ending, bro. And that's why you just keep, you know, you change your desires. You change your outlook. You change on what you're going towards. You know what I mean? You don't want to keep wasting your life going towards the same thing. It's like, okay, well, I went after this. Now it's time to go after something else. And that's what I said, is we're chasing. What are we chasing? Adventure. Mostly. But if you're not chasing adventure, you're chasing the idea of security or control. It's still an adventure. It's a shitty-ass adventure trying to control it, but you're not going to. You don't have control. You're trying to get it, but it's not real. Why couldn't it, you know what I mean? If Kendrick's the biggest thing ever, he won all these Grammys, he did the Super Bowl. As I'm saying it, it's just like everybody that ever did the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? That was Dr. Dre and all of them. They all did the Super Bowl. Wasn't Kendrick on stage with them when they did it? I feel like he was. When when fucking Dr. Dre and Snoop and all of them, they all went and did the fucking Super Bowl, right? Then they all went back out and made another album and went back on tour. Pretty much. It's like there wasn't a destination. Like, this is where I can't wait till the day that I can do the Super Bowl. I can't wait till I play at Carnegie Hall. I can't wait until you know what I mean? I'm a real NFL football player. Okay, you made it. Now what? No, now I got to this. Now I got to this. And that's Lewis. It's like, you know, you're chasing, but what are you chasing? What are you chasing? We're supposed to be chasing, you know what I mean, God. So, I'm getting warm. I've had enough. I'm ready for some music. I'll pull you guys out some cards in a bit. We're going to go jump in the showers. Well, I don't know what the kids are doing in the car. I'm ready to go take a shower and put on a dress and get the day going. I don't know. Spend some time with God, because that's what it is. It's like, where are you going? I'm going to sit with God and see what the fuck he's going to do with me in my situation. What do you want me to do about my situation, God? You want me to get dressed, go out and drive like a maniac for, you know, till midnight? Take care of all this? Or what am I supposed to do? You know? Look, the hawk just landed. Oh my goodness. It's not even a hawk. It's a vulture. No, it's a hawk. Dang, that was crazy. I watched it fly up right and land on the building behind me. I'd show you, but then you'd know where I was. I don't like to do all that. I'll take a picture of it and zoom it out for you. Actually, I have a picture of it last time I was here. I'll just put that picture up. That's it, guys. Hermit mode. Hermit mode. And that's it, too, is what I tell you. Those was the cards. It was the Hermit, the Five of Cups, where you were going to cry, feel discontent. And then after it was, what? Six of Wands, victory. You find victory over it after you go through the heartache of it. And that's it, too. You just cried about all kinds of shit. You went through all kinds of shit. Yeah, I had a lot of shit built up. I didn't talk to you about anything yesterday. I kept all my feelings to myself. I kept all my thoughts to myself. I kept everything in. And now it all came out. And I feel better. Do you feel better? I do. Well, you know, that's called spiritual constipation right there. Emotional constipation. Mental constipation. Am I constipated? No. Thank goodness. But all of it, you know, flows out. And then you're fresh now. It's like, all right, now I can let some new thoughts and some new feelings in. So, hey, happy Sunday Fun Day at 1/17/03. I will catch you guys later for an actual reading. Laters, haters.